24/7 since the beginning of existence. I'm Mitchell from Australia, just a student like the rest of you, learning every day in our beautiful flat earth school around us. Hope everyone's happy and healthy. Arwen first, how are you, mate? Daly Jacobson. Apologise if I can't say your name, Abdurrahman. I'm sorry. Guys, if you want me to shout you out, you have to make a YouTube name that I can actually pronounce. Jess Palmer, how are you? Bree, good to see you guys on this beautiful Monday morning for some, Tuesday morning for others, Monday afternoon, wherever you are on our beautiful flat earth school. Does not really matter the time, doesn't really matter the date. All that matters is you realize that you are on a flat earth. And I'm going to be going through some proofs that we are definitely on a flat earth today. If you haven't realized that by now, then this is the stream for you. Because it's something that everyone needs to realize. There are things that we just do every day, that we see every day, that we use every day, that we're taking for granted and we're not realizing. They are flat earth proofs. Arwen says, holy shit, what a view. Yeah, we've got 2 lighthouses here. This is, I'm not going to say where I am at the moment, maybe the end of the stream, because this is a very, very hot spot at the moment. I'm sure if trolls really wanted to work it out, they could. But as it is, I'm just going to be streaming. Doesn't really matter where I am. All that you guys need to know is it's beautiful and it's a flat earth. Dusty Rider, how are you? One of my awesome patrons. Explain how. Hello. Thanks for being here for another week of Flat Earth School. I think this is the 7th week I've been doing this. But who's counting? Show number 30. Got through 30 shows. Katrina from Serbia, hey, how are we going? Serbia, that's a new one. Awesome, you can make it here for this. What is going to be an awesome stream? Johnsberg, joining from Norway. Hey, Johnsberg, thanks for all the support you continually giving me, Johnsberg and everyone. I really appreciate all the support I've been getting about Flat Earth School. It has been really, really fun. I've really enjoyed being out here in our Flat Earth School, doing these streams, just detailing what we see. PJ Cruikshank, good evening, yes, excellent view. Dusty Rise says Norway is free. Christian Seifert, how are you? Flat as F, he says. It is very apparent and obvious that we live on a flat earth. It is a beautiful view. Thanks for commenting, Mark. It's probably a little bit better this way with the sun. What's the time here? Well, it is just past 6 a.m. Now, how I just said, I'm going to eat my own words here, how I just said it doesn't matter what the time is. Next week here in Australia, there's going to be daylight savings times. So I'm going to have to decide. I'm probably going to have to move the show back an hour, so it's going to be an hour earlier. I really have to work this out, because then in the north, some people's clocks move forward, backwards, sideways. Not sure if it really matters, but yeah, I'm probably still going to keep to Australian time, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 a.m. Well, yeah, I could go for 13 hours, because our Flat Earth School does not stop just because of time. Mark says the sun just left him here in England. There in England. And it's just popped up over here. That's where it went. Before someone says it, that has been done. Nathan Oakley has, it was a fair few years ago now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was a 24-hour stream that Nathan Oakley kind of put together with everyone all over our flat plane. Because it is absolutely flat, obviously, observably, measurably, navigatably flat. And people all over the world were tracking the sun. It's definitely still on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. They were just observing where the sun is, what it does for different people, different parts of our flat Earth. Free ball linear. It is a beautiful shot. Atlantis rising. How do we prove that the firmament is real? Well, that's up for other people to prove. Because I don't punt a firmament. I definitely punt where we're contained. That doesn't mean it has to be a firmament. Doesn't mean, well, I suppose you're not saying dome, so it doesn't have to be shape. Well, if by firmament you mean container, the fact that we are breathing, the fact that we have air, gas, it is not expanding into a sky vacuum, as some people would like to tell you. It should be, if we were next to a sky vacuum, which is space. It's interesting how they call it space. Yeah, the space for the gas to fill. If this gas here that we're breathing was next to a space for it to fill, it would absolutely fill it. It is natural law. There are many, many natural laws. And a natural law is only something that happens always and never not happens. So that's why we say, give us an example of gas pressure existing without a container. It is a necessary antecedent. An antecedent is just something that needs to happen or needs to occur, needs to be present in order for something else to happen. So we need a container in the first instance to have gas. So if that's what you're calling the firmament, a container, then absolutely, that's how we prove the firmament. Darwin says the literal meaning of firmament is debated within the context of biblical cosmology. Yeah. And Owen says, yeah, we breathe. It requires a container in some form. Absolutely, Owen. That's how we can prove that we have containment. You can call it a firmament if you want to, but we are absolutely contained. All right, well, let's get into it. So if you have seen anything on my channel, or if you haven't, just go to my channel and you will see there is a video called the #1 Flat Earth Proof. And it is all to do with the sextant and celestial navigation. That is absolutely the #1 Flat Earth Proof. There is no better proof right now than the sextant and celestial navigation. Is something that we have done for centuries, possibly millennia. It works because we are on a flat Earth. The fundamental principle to a sextant working is it needs to measure straight lines. One of those straight lines is out there towards the horizon. Right there, one of those. So a straight line from the observer to the horizon. And we can use things like the sun. That's the other straight line. So a straight line from the observer to the horizon. And another straight line from the observer to something like a star or the sun. We'll use the sun as an example because the sun's one of those guys right around there. Yeah? And yes, Owen, the horizon is not an geometric obstruction. So we can rule out that a sextant works on a globe simply by just asking the globers, what is the horizon? Is it geometric? If they say yes, then black swan. Yeah, we're seeing far past the geometric limitations on a globe, being 1.22 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Yeah, black swan, 1 foot observer height, 10-mile distance to the horizon is far in excess of 10 miles, but we're saying 10 miles just to be nice. And That's impossible on a globe with a radius of 3959 miles. Geometric limitations should be at 1.22 miles at 1 foot observer height. And I've got my own black swan, the Australian black swan, where I see from a 5.5 foot observer height, I see the horizon in excess of 7.8 miles. So the horizon that we see is definitely not geometric. It is not a physical Earth curve horizon. And so to counter that, the globe believers have said that the horizon is now refracted. It is apparent. It is optical. Yeah, that's our argument. Welcome to Flat Earth. The horizon is absolutely optical. It is not physical, which it needs to be for a globe. For things like, there's ships out there. See if we can zoom in. See those ships out there? Are they being blocked physically from the bottom up by a geometric Earth curve horizon? No, because we don't have a geometric Earth curve horizon anymore. Dusty Rise says, you can't measure what isn't there. Exactly. Yes. Hey Adam, how are you? Thanks for dropping in. Good evening. Matthew Eastman says he's in Texas. And I'm in tomorrow. And so when we're using a sextant, it cannot work on a globe. Number one, you can't get a 90-degree angle from the sun down to a curved surface. It wouldn't be a 90-degree angle. And number two, when the globers say that we have an apparent horizon that is not physical, it is refracted, that means we don't have a straight line to the horizon from the observer. Something we absolutely need for the sextant to work, a straight line from the observer to the horizon, because we're lining up the horizon in the mirror of the sextant to get a baseline. You need a baseline. It is straight. It is the bottom angle of the triangle, the bottom line of the triangle. The only reason the sextant works is because we are measuring a flat Earth, and it's the number one flat Earth proof because we can measure thousands and thousands of miles of flat, level Earth. That is why it is the number one flat Earth proof. Yes, there is a lot of flat Earth proofs, and I'm going to go through them today. But it's number one because the sextant can literally measure, and has measured, not just can, it has, past tense. It has measured the entire world as flat, because with celestial navigation, you don't just have one point of reference, one angle measuring. Yeah, so we see the sun, we get that point. That makes, with the three straight lines, we have an area of equal altitude. So the radius of the area of equal to altitude is from the observer to the GP point of the star or the sun, or the moon. You can still use the moon. So we know by looking at the sun, the degrees that we're looking at, we know, and knowing what the geographical position, the position where the sun is 90 degrees above a spot on Earth, just by knowing the angle to the sun, we know how far away from the GP point we are, the geographical position. And by measuring an angle, we are looking out over to the geographical position and past it, absolutely flat. So if we're seeing a star 15 degrees above the horizon, we can deduce that the star's geographical position is about 5,000 miles from our observer location. Yeah, 69 miles per degree. It has to be on a flat, level plane. It's the only way it can work, on a flat, level plane with a flat baseline. So we can deduce that radius from the observer to the GP, the radius of that area of equal altitude is 5,000 miles. And the diameter of that area of equal altitude is over 10,000 miles. That's the diameter. And the area, and that's absolutely flat. It has to be everything on that circle of equal altitude, within the circle of equal altitude, is absolutely flat. It has to be. It is the fundamental pillar of how the sextant works, why the sextant works. It has a flat baseline. And the area within that one area of equal altitude, with a diameter of over 10,000 miles, is 84.5 million miles squared. Square miles of absolutely flat, level Earth. That's how it works. So that is why it is the #1 flat Earth proof. Now there are more. There are definitely more flat Earth proofs which I'm going to go through today that use the similar principles, but the sextant and celestial navigation is probably the best because we can and have and do physically measure the flat Earth. The entire flat Earth. That's why it's the #1 flat Earth proof, because it can measure the entire known world as flat. Yeah, Mark, yeah, that's a good point. Today a Glober told me that on a flat Earth there is no horizon. Well, we definitely live on a flat Earth, and we definitely have a horizon. Horizon is just the apparent line where the sky meets the sea or the land. Yeah, it's just an apparent line. Why cannot that be possible on a flat Earth? We're living on a flat Earth. We measure a flat Earth. We navigate on a flat Earth. Now I'm just going to keep moving because, like I said, I'm in a location that is a bit dicey to be in today. Just testing the waters, seeing how much I'm going to get hassled. It is a beautiful location. That's why I'm here. It's somewhere that I've been for flat Earth school yet, just because of where it is. So you could say I'm running the gauntlet today. As you can see, there are lots of people here. And they all are moving around. They're all exercising because that's one of the only things you can do in this area at the moment. So I'm going to be moving around with them. I'm just going to find just another nice place to set up, because there are a lot of dobbers. Obviously I'm not worried about anyone on the stream. You guys are cool, but someone sees me standing around and they think, oh, I'm not allowed to stand around, I'm going to tell the authorities. That's just what happens. Dobbing a neighbour policy. That's what they tell us that would like to happen. Anyway, might go down near some rocks. Get a nice view of our beautiful flat Earth school from down here. Because it is beautiful, and that's why I want to be out here every day. I'm not too worried about the restrictions, lockdowns, the things that they tell us we're not allowed to do. This is our beautiful natural flat Earth, and we can do whatever we want on it. It's all up to the individual to make that decision for yourself. You always have consent. You always have the final say on whatever you do. By allowing other people to tell you what to do, other people to tell you what to think, you are consenting. But anyway, that's a different topic. We're talking about flat Earth proofs here. Arwen says, any comments on cloud formation in a geometric plane towards the horizon to the point where it can no longer be registered? Dusty Rise says he does not consent. Yeah, I might touch on that, Arwen. Cloud formation in a geometric plane towards the horizon to the point where it cannot be longer registered. So, like everything in our flat plane, everything is sitting at different heights, different distances from the flat plane. If you're up a tree over there, if you're up a mountain, you are in a different flat plane than someone at sea level. Apologies, just putting the camera back on the tripod. And so the clouds have their own flat level plane also. And the reason why we can see clouds for as far as we can see is because, yeah, they're higher above the flat plane. They're in their own parallel reference plane. And the Earth is in its own flat level reference frame, parallel to everything. So the higher we go up, we're just going up, and we are parallel to the Earth. And so as the clouds get further away from us towards the horizon, I might turn the camera around. I don't really want to see graffiti. It's not part of our natural world. So as the clouds move away from us towards the horizon, it's just like everything. Oh man. Owen says, when the clouds are of a constant size, you really get to see it. Yeah, so it's hard to judge if all the clouds are a constant size. Yeah, I know what you mean, Owen. Like a one of those patterns where it looks like a farm field. You can see the perspective lines. It is just all due to perspective. It is all each individual's perspective of our beautiful flat Earth plane. As they get away from you, the clouds. So I wonder if you guys see the crepuscular rays there. I can see them pretty easy. Something that definitely proves that light does not come in parallel. But yeah, as the clouds move away from you, just like everything else that moves away from you, they get smaller. They appear to get smaller. Sheep clouds, says Armin, yeah. That's a cool name for them. Yeah, sheep clouds. Counting sheep? I wonder if that's what they refer to as counting sheep, going to sleep, counting sheep. The clouds. So just as they move away from you, they appear to drop in altitude, just like everything that moves away from you. Stars, the sun, everything appears to change in altitude, whether it be, if it's coming closer, obviously the clouds are going to appear to increase in altitude, increase in size. That is just the fundamental premise of how perspective works in our world. That's just what we see. Sheep jumping over the horizon, yep. Love it, Arwen. Alright, so I might get into some flat earth proof. I'm not sure. I want to move around a bit more just to see. I don't want to be hidden by rocks. Let's see. Yeah, it's alright. We'll move around after. I'll just get the... we'll move around. It's not the best spot here. Go somewhere else. It was a good little spot to set up. There was not much glare and you can see pretty well, but I definitely want to get into some of these flat earth proofs because there are so many of them. There are so many things that prove our beautiful flat earth. So, alright, so the next flat earth proof that I'm going to go into is surveying. So surveying is very similar to using a sextant. Instead of making angles using something, an optical device, instead of looking at something like stars, which that's what the premise to the sextant uses. Yeah, so we're looking at stars, making angles to the stars. Now we're making angles to things on the land. That's how a surveyor uses a theodolite. That's just how it works. Measuring angles and known angles. Yeah, so I'll just get my iPad out here because I've got a few visuals. I want to do a bit of screen sharing. So the theodolite's number one job is to measure angles between points, horizontally and vertically. And you can combine those angles with distances. And that's how you can triangulate something. Angles and distances. So anything that uses triangulation is definitely a flat earth proof, because it starts with needing a flat baseline, a straight flat baseline. Just trying to get this set up so I don't have to move it again. Alright, so surveying and theodolites. Definitely a flat earth proof. You have to start with the premise that you are on a flat earth. That's just how you have to start the surveying process. And this is theodolite. Something like this. It's actually called a total station. And you can actually use it not only to measure angles, looking through here, it actually measures distance as well. Very, very useful. And that's how we survey everything. That's how we get make maps. That's how we measure out physically the earth. And you have to measure it as if it is flat. Yeah, you're not starting with a presupposition. It is just how this piece of equipment has to work. You have to use straight lines. Nothing is refracted, nothing is bendy light. You have to use straight lines, and you have to, everything is flat. Yeah, so this is how something like a theodolite works. Okay, you have to have a horizontal line. That's the horizontal line. Horizon, straight, flat, level. Anything that above the horizon is the angle of elevation. Anything below that horizontal level is the angle of depression. You have a plumb bob, which goes straight down. So you've got 90 degrees angles here, only possible on a flat earth. A plumb bob, 90 degree angle to the horizontal line. That's just how a survey works. And this is what we can do with a theodolite, with a total station surveying. So we've got a known position over here. We've got measured angles and we've got calculated distances. And we can triangulate these positions and we can plot them to make maps. You go to all these different, you can start here, but you can go to these different locations and you can verify the angles back. Yeah? The principle of how surveying works is absolutely a flat earth proof. So what is an angle? In Euclidean geometry, an angle is the figure formed by two rays called the sides of the angle, sharing a common endpoint called the vertex. That's the vertex there. So we've got two straight lines. All right, so good so far. What is an angle in geometry? An angle can be defined as the figure formed by two rays meeting at a common point. Yeah? So it's definitely two straight lines. That's what we have to have for angles. That's what we need for... hey, Witzer gets it. How are you, mate? Pressure gauges don't exist in nature, so no science can be done on pressure. All right. If you say so, Witzer. Thanks for being here. We're talking about flat earth proofs today, so if you got any, let us know. We're just talking about surveying and how it absolutely has to have straight flat lines, and you're measuring a straight flat level plane. All these elevations are relative to each other. Yeah, so we can measure from here up a mountain. We can measure here. We can use it to measure the height of a tree, measure the height of a mountain, measure the height of a hill. That's how we get to topography. Another flat earth proof. We are not looking across any curve. We are not accounting for any curve as we look across the earth towards those mountains, towards those trees. There is no curve that we have to account for. It's just not something that we have to take into consideration. Surveying does not take into consideration the globe, does not take into consideration curvature. So all elevations are relative to each other, and they're only relative because they're on a flat, level plane. They cannot be relative if they are on a curved surface. From our perspective point, we cannot extrapolate any set heights, distances, angles on a curved surface. It's just not something that can be achieved on a curved surface on a globe. What else have we got about surveying? So the only way to measure angles to something is to have a flat baseline. Only works on flat Earth. Yeah, and so obviously, what do we use surveying for? To make maps. So maps, another flat Earth proof. Yeah, all maps that we use for the layout of the land, for distances to things, for navigating, yeah, just using maps on Google Maps to get somewhere, it is all being measured as flat, as per the survey. Adam Meakin says, we all have built-in fart meters, so how do they work if it's not a natural pressure gauge? We're going off on tangents here. I'm talking about flat Earth proofs here. Come on, Witsit, get it back on track. You get my chat off into Witsit. You definitely invited onto my show as a guest if you want to be a guest. But at the moment, we're talking about flat Earth proofs. Yeah. So if we've got any, put them in the chat. Say Mitchell at Mitchell from Australia and give us some flat Earth proofs. At the moment, we're talking about maps, because every map that we have that we use for navigation, that we use for the layout of the land, for measuring distances, they have no drop, they have no curvature. None has been taken into consideration when making these maps, because using a surveyor, using a satellite, using a total station, you do not need to take any of this into consideration. You do not need to take any curvature into consideration. All you have to do is treat everything as flat and level. That's how you get maps. So every map that we have is a flat Earth map. Doesn't matter if you're looking at something like topography, yeah? Topography absolutely is capable, the elevation profile. It's absolutely capable of measuring drop, but there is no drop in any map. They are all flat Earth maps. There is no drop, but you can have elevation profiles. Everything, all the baselines are flat. Yeah, see this baseline? It is flat, and it is everything above that. It is not a curve and everything above that. No, we do not have to assume that we're on a globe and all measurements of elevations go to the center of a globe. No, that is just not something that we need to take into consideration. That's not something that a surveyor takes into consideration when making these maps, when measuring the angles, when plotting things. Yeah, it is all flat. So maps, another flat Earth proof. And like I said, anything that uses trigonometry, triangulation, that's the next thing, triangulation. Yeah. So what is triangulation? In geometry, triangulation is the process of determining the location of a point by forming triangles to the point using known points. Okay, so something like this may be a bit more helpful. Hopefully you guys can see this. So you've got a point here, and you know the distance between point A and point B. You measure an angle to the ship, you measure another angle to the ship. You can get distances to that ship, yeah, triangulation. Using angles and distances. Triangulation. And not only is this a flat line from A to B, it's a flat line out to the object that you're triangulating to, from. Yeah, once again, angles. In Euclidean geometry, an angle is the figure formed by two rays called the sides of the angle, sharing a common endpoint called the vertex. Yeah? Straight lines to have an angle. Arwen says you have to know its actual size. Don't know about that, Arwen. I don't think we need to know something's actual size to triangulate a position. We can use angles and distances. We don't need to know a size of something. We can definitely measure the size of something using trigonometry, something like a tree, something like a mountain. That's what Alberuni did when he first had, before measuring the the radius of the Earth, that we're told he did. Yeah, we're told that Alberuni went up a mountain to measure the radius of the Earth. He first had to get the height of that Earth. Just trying to find the little picture here that shows how Alberuni measured the height of a mountain, because it is definitely a flat Earth proof. He had to... Oh, my screen sharing's not doing too well today. So, Alberuni, yeah? He had to first... This is the height of the mountain here. He had to first assume that he is on a flat, level plane. So he was at point A measuring an angle up to the top of the mountain, because he wants to find the height of the mountain. And then he moves to point B. He knows the distance from point A to B and measures another angle. And because he knows the distance on a flat, level plane, see how triangles have flat, straight lines, not curved line? He has to assume that he is on a flat, level plane, measuring angles to something like a mountain, and then he can use trigonometry, triangles, to work out the height of the mountain. And it has nothing to do with a curve, nothing to do with a globe. Curvature is not taken into consideration. So I don't think we need to know the size of an object that we're measuring. Just a known distance and using angles. That's how triangulation works. So everything that uses triangulation is a flat Earth proof. So things like surveying that we went over, navigation that we've been over this sextant, metrology, not meteorology, metrology, model rocketry, that's an interesting one, uses triangulation, gun direction, trajectory of firepower of weapons. Everything that uses triangulation is a flat Earth proof. Triangles have straight lines, triangles have flat baselines. Yeah? Anything that uses a triangle is measuring a flat Earth. You have to treat it as flat. So what else we got that needs a flat Earth to work? Or that proves that we're living on a flat Earth? Something like a mechanical gyroscope. So what is a mechanical gyroscope? Something that is spun and that stays in its own reference plane, if you will. It stays in its own orientation. So it's been spun up. Just play this little video again. And when you tilt it, it wants to go back into that orientation. Or when you tilt the object that is connected to, like the gimbal, when it's attached to a gimbal, just go back to the gimbal, see? The mechanical gyro will stay parallel to the ground, yeah, in its own flat reference plane, and the gimbal can move around it. So you absolutely know, if you're looking at a gyroscope, a mechanical gyro, you will know if you are tilted. If you're turning a corner, the gyro will stay absolutely flat in its orientation as you move around the gyro. And so if you have spun up a gyro and you put it in something like a plane, if you are traversing a curved surface, the gyroscope would register that the flat level parallel plane that the gyroscope has been spun up in, it will stay in its orientation. So as you traverse a curved surface, it would move. Yeah, it would appear to tilt. It would appear as if the gyro is not parallel to the ground anymore. But do we ever see that? No, because gyroscopes are used in planes. Yeah, that's how Early mechanical gyroscopes are used, and I believe they're still used in planes to reference an orientation parallel to the ground, so the pilots know if they're tilting up, tilting down, left, right, banking. I'm sure there's technical words for that, but every movement that a pilot makes, you can see the reference parallel plane using a gyroscope. A mechanical gyro only works if we are on a flat level plane. And obviously planes traverse distances of thousands of miles. Yes, the plane moves around the gyro, but the gyro stays absolutely parallel with the ground because it's flat. It's using the conservation of angular momentum, and that's something that we can actually see. Yeah, conservation of angular momentum. It is staying in its same orientation. So the gyro, the mechanical gyro, is absolutely a flat earth proof. So what uses mechanical gyros? Ships, aircraft for their autopilots, things like torpedoes, ballistic missiles. These are all things that traverse large distances, and obviously they all work, they all hit their target, they all, ships and planes, yeah, can navigate really easily using this thing to orientate, just to know the orientation of the ship and the aircraft. So mechanical gyros are absolutely a flat earth proof. They can only work on a flat earth. Which brings me into some more flat earth. It is not the next flat earth proof. It is a lot of flat earth proof. Anyone who knows Mark Sargent, so obviously go to YouTube, Mark Sargent YouTube channel. He's got a weekly radio show live on Truth Frequency Radio. I think he's still got Karen B with him. Mark Sargent gets around a lot on TV in the mainstream. Yeah, he's very well known flat earther. His subject matter experts, the people in their each individual profession, have come to him to talk about flat earth. And these are some of the professions that absolutely have to treat the earth as flat, level, stationary, and closed for their professions. That's how their profession works. They have to treat what they see, how they traverse the earth, as flat and level. So these are some of the subject matter experts that absolutely prove that the earth is flat. Missile instructor, US Navy submarine chief, career land surveyor, there's that surveyor again, flight instructor, there's a pilot, a valve expert, international shipping expert, there's someone that uses ships here traversing large areas of our flat plane. He can testify that it is absolutely flat. Corporate travel agent, USDA surveyor, another surveyor, etheric scientist, a flat earth aviation family, so a whole family that flies, that knows it's flat, that navigates using flat earth principles. US Navy navigator, so in the Navy, yeah, they know it's flat. They're traversing a flat plane. Pilot of 40 years, retired US Air Force Navy, Australian intelligence officer that says GPS is ground-based. Yep, that's another one. I'm going to go into GPS after this. Air traffic controllers. So there's 3 of them. 3 air traffic controllers that have to treat everything as flat and level in order for their equipment to work, in order for them to safely tell the planes where they are, how to come in, yeah, where it's safe, yeah. These things all work on a flat plane. A master gunner. So obviously people who are shooting things across a flat plane like a master gunner, they're not taking into account curvature. They're treating everything they see as flat and level because it has to be. To measure angles to targets, it has to be a flat, level plane. That's just how our world presents itself. And that's how you have to use the world, as a flat, level plane. All these experts, subject matter experts, all these professionals that use a flat, level plane. US Army Aviation and ground combat expert, 32nd degree Mason, a defense intel agent, 737 pilot as another pilot, AutoCAD technician. So all these professions who have come to Mark Sargent to just talk about their profession and talk about how they have to take into account a flat level plane in their profession, and their professions all work. Yeah, they are all flat earth proofs. All proofs that we are living on a flat level plane. So there was another thing that I mentioned, GPS. So what is GPS? Well, a very prominent anti-flat earther is about to tell us. Jesse Kozlowski. He is a surveyor, and let's hear what he has to say. Yep, hang on. Might need to turn the sound up. There we go. All right. Screen sharing 101.
So here's the thing I wanted to explain. GPS operates in a 3D Cartesian coordinate system. It is not latitude and longitude. That latitude and longitude comes from a conversion from that box style system. That's the native coordinates coming out of a GPS system. Here's the thing I wanted to explain. GPS operates in a 3D Cartesian coordinate system. It is not latitude and longitude. That latitude and longitude comes from a conversion from that box style system. That's the native coordinates coming out of a GPS system. So here's the thing I want.
So that's a surveyor, Jesse Kozlowski, detailing what is GPS. It is a Cartesian coordinate system, a 3D length, breadth, height. 3D Cartesian coordinate system. That's how GPS works. It is not latitude and longitude, as some people would like to tell you. This is a Cartesian coordinate system put onto something like a curved surface. It does not work on a curved surface, does not work on a globe. Every Cartesian coordinate system, every box, if you will, has to line up with the next box. They overlap each other. It is all ground-based. They use towers like this. Each tower sets up its own Cartesian coordinate system, its own box, if you will, around it. A cube. Cubes inherently have straight lines. They do not have bent lines. And so using this Cartesian coordinate system, this is how we can visualize it. Something like boxes overlapping each other, next to each other. Yeah, the verticals have to line up parallel to each other. The horizontals have to line up parallel to each other. That's how GPS works, using Cartesian coordinate systems. And I've got a bit of information here from Brian's Logic. Brian, you're awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate it. So Brian tells me about Cartesian coordinates because he's done a fair bit of research into this. So Cartesian coordinates build a three-dimensional, while they also build a three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system around that zenith, because you need a zenith to begin with, there will be a base coordinates, that is the base coordinates for the GPS. Yeah, so these coordinates will be converted mathematically afterwards, but the raw base coordinates are always Cartesian XYZ, flat plane coordinates. All the GPS directions from one tangent plane to the next, as GPS never references a curved surface, always flat. This exact system is taken from an older surveying system called ITRF system. So that's another flat earth proof as well. The old referencing surveying system, ITRF system. Surveying now uses GPS all the time. Yeah, so surveyors use GPS too because they use Cartesian coordinates. They use these XYZ coordinates, boxes, if you will. They overlap wherever you go. The verticals are parallel. The horizontals are parallel. So when a surveyor uses GPS, they use flat plane coordinates and only ever reference a flat plane. But they bring every zenith that goes through the center of the Cartesian XYZ coordinate system. This is what globers do. They bring that zenith to the center of a presupposed spherical Earth. Yeah, it is all in the maths for the globe. It is all in reality for flat Earth. These are just flat earth proofs. Yeah, so we've been through a few of them today, and I'm not done. I'll just go through the ones that we have been through. The sextant, the number 1 flat earth proof. GPS we just went through. Mechanical gyro, maps, triangulation, surveying. All right, let's go through some natural ones now. Just reflections. Things like, hopefully you guys can see this, reflections of mountains on water. It is only possible on a flat earth. Yeah, Adam Meakin says Cartesians, yes, but does not account for curvature. The same altitude is parallel. There is no z-axis drop. And you're going to need R for that, aren't you, if you're going to assert that it's on a globe. Yep. Surveyors know that's absolutely flat. Map makers know that's absolutely flat. This is another flat earth proof here. Reflections. Yeah? These beautiful pictures, only possible on a flat earth. This water here is coming straight from the observer to what we would call the visual horizon, where the sky meets the land or the sea. Only possible on a flat earth. If it was curved, if the water was curving away from us, if the image, those mountains were curving away from us, we would not see this spectacular mirroring. Yeah, it's just a perfect mirror on the water, because the water is flat and level. The mountains just go vertically up. They're parallel to the observer. These parallel lines, these 90-degree lines, these flat lines absolutely prove a flat earth. Some natural flat earth proof right here. Beautiful, beautiful reflections on water. Flat earth proof. Not possible on a curved surface. You need flat water from the observer to the target. And also, the mountains are not curving away from you. They're not dropping away from you. As seen in these images, they are just a perfect mirror. You would not get a perfect mirror of a mountain on a curved surface. So reflections. Other things that can reflect in nature. Hopefully I've put it in here. Sun and moon reflections. The sun and the moon absolutely prove a flat earth. They make beautiful reflections. Everyone's seen this. Yeah, flat water also proves stationary. Yep, yeah, it's a good one, Dusty. What was that? Someone said the I-1864 GPS based on the RAN. Yep. GPS was based on the RAN, long range navigation. That was a little secret that the US had in World War II for navigation. Long range navigation, yep, definitely a flat earth proof, but these are natural flat earth proofs here. The moon reflecting on the water. The water has to be absolutely flat. Yeah. Another moon shot. Absolutely flat water. Flat reflection on flat water. Oh no. Whoa. Just trying to get rid of the sound there because I don't want to get a copyright infringement. So hopefully you guys can see that. Wherever the sun is to the observer, this is just me shooting a sun reflection across water, just flying from right to left. Got my family there, they're all seeing the sun reflecting straight to their feet, all over a flat plane. Only possible on a flat plane. See the sun reflection? Goes all the way to the sun. And you can extrapolate using the sun. The sun is definitely a flat earth proof. If you're measuring an angle to the sun, and you know the sun's GP, the geographical position, that reflection right there, you can extrapolate how far that goes. If the sun is 15 degrees above the horizon, you can extrapolate out that the sun's GP is 5,000 miles away. So that is 5,000 miles of absolute flat level water right there that the sun is reflecting on. Does not happen, impossible, on a curved surface. This is a little demonstration of what a reflection would look like on a curved surface. This is a light above a curved surface. We don't see that beautiful reflection coming all the way down, do we? No. This is a reflection on a plane, a flat surface. That's what we see, and that's what we see in reality. Yeah? Yeah, some beautiful shots, Adam. Arwen says, yeah, a curved surface would not reflect light like a band. Instead, would be a dot. Yep, it'd have a hot spot here. It'd have a hot spot right there. That's a curved surface right here. This is a flat plane, a band of light, as Arwen puts it. Yep, and this is what we see in reality. A band of light from the observer to the light source across flat level water. And when we're using water, what else can we use water for? What is called a water level. Something that builders have used for centuries, maybe millennia. Yeah, the premise to this is you get a tube, fill it with water, and the level of water here and the level of water there will be the same. This is how we just, and that can go around corners. You don't have to use visual line of sight. The level of water there will be the same level of water in the other side of the tube. Now I know that Bev, Try Thinking, has done a lot of this, has done a lot of demonstrations on this. I think he made a really long water level using this principle here, that yeah, water is level. It will have the same level here as the same level there. Yeah, and all this area here is flat in between, has to be. These poles here are not angling away from each other, they are parallel, as is the water going up these pipes here. It is all parallel. That line here and that line here are absolutely flat. Same height, same elevation. That's how we can use water to prove that we are living on a flat earth. It is a flat earth proof. Water is absolutely a flat earth proof. What else we got? Compasses. I like this one. Compasses, something that I recently did. So using a compass only works on a flat earth. A compass, whether it be sitting on some water, which I just detailed that water absolutely has to be flat. Yeah, this little magnetic needle here, it's either sitting on water or it's something like a plumb bob. It needs to be on a flat. You need to hold it as if it was parallel to the ground. Compasses only work on a flat earth. Yeah, parallel to a flat earth. If you tilt the compass, you wouldn't get a reading. Yeah? If you tilted the compass, it would not point north. It would get stuck. It would want to point parallel to the earth. That's what compasses do. They point parallel to our flat plane. And these are just some of the flat earth proofs that we have in our world. These are just some. That is just some that I could fit into an hour segment here on Flat Earth School. They're just some of the proofs that we have on our flat earth, of a flat earth. Adam Meakin says, I'm not giving that man-made compass explanation again. It's alright, Adam, you don't have to, mate. We know that the premise to the compass working is on a flat earth. I just want to just back up here and just show you our our beautiful flat earth here. It is gorgeous. I really appreciate everyone joining me on Flat Earth School today. Let's go over here. Let's see. There's a nice harbour here that I just wanted to show everyone on our beautiful Flat Earth School. Thank you again for joining me on this beautiful flat earth. Those things over there, those boats, they all use flat earth principles to navigate. Yeah, sextants, celestial navigation, gyros, maps, all flat earth proof. That's how we navigate. That's how we get across our flat earth. Arwen says if earth was a globe, the compass would be pointing down most of the time. Exactly, Arwen. That was the point I was making. Has to be on a flat level plane. I really appreciate everyone joining me at Flat Earth School for another big week of just experiencing our flat earth for what it is. These were flat earth proofs. I challenge any glober to debunk them. Yeah, have I made a mistake? Was I detailing something that is not a flat earth proof? Everything that we see, we experience it as flat. We have to treat it as flat. That's just how we navigate. That's how we make maps. That's how we see reflections on water. That's just how our world works, on a flat, level plane. The Earth is flat. It has so many flat proofs. This is Flat Earth School, the school that teaches us every single day. You just need to look at it. You have to see it for what it is. Yeah, flat, flat, flat. Says PJ Cruikshank. I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for sticking around with me. Smash the super chat. Join us a Patron. I had a great guest last week. We talked about refraction, as Flight the Flat Earth would say. Reflection. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Have a good day. Join me next time on Flat Earth School. If you feel like the world turns on you, turn to Flat Earth School. It is around us 24/7 since the beginning of existence. I've been Mitchell from Australia, just detailing what we see on our flat Earth. Flat Earth School is around us, like I said, since the beginning of existence, 24/7. It is beautiful, it is natural, we just have to experience it for what it is. Until next time, guys, thank you. Keep it flat.